Okay, folks, we're rolling. This is Paul from Grillin', Montana, and today we are cooking one of my favorite dishes on the Blackstone griddle. I've got the 22-inch Blackstone griddle fired up. I've had this unit for many years. I wrote and tested most of the recipes for my cookbook on this exact griddle right here. So, yeah, this is one of my favorite dishes. And because there's going to be a bunch cooking, I'm just going to get started and I'll talk as we go. So, like I said, or I haven't said, but we're going to go ahead and put down some chicken thighs, which has really become my favorite over the years for a few reasons. Number one, it's affordable, but it can take a lot of abuse, and I just really adore chicken thigh. So one of the things that I really like about chicken thigh is that it can just take tons of heat, and it can be abused, and it doesn't really dry out. It's just a wonderful product. I go with boneless, skinless whenever possible. I try to find these little bits of skin, and although I can cut them off, what I will attempt to do is, render them a bit, and kind of add a little bit of additional chicken fat flavor to the dish in some capacity. It may just be subliminal, but I like to let it go in that regard. So this dish is, I guess you could call it a play on chicken hibachi noodles, and technically it would probably be called a ramen dish or a yakisoba style dish. The noodles that I'm going to be using today are ramen, but for whatever reason that I don't prefer, anytime that it seems that there's Asian food on a griddle, the word hibachi comes out, and I'm not exactly sure why. So I'd forgotten that even though I preheated the griddle for quite some time, because I cooked on it last night and I wanted to burn off some oils, I had turned the flame way down. So I just popped it back up, and it should do pretty short work on this chicken, but I do like to let the chicken go for a bit of time. Now, you certainly can use oil on the griddle for this dish. I chose not to because I didn't have my oil bottle right here. But you can see how the chicken is releasing the fat. I don't know if you can see all this here. It's cooling, and it makes a really nice, flavorful, delicious browning. Helps with the crust, so it's good stuff. So I'll give this a little bit more time and then flip it around. So this is a dead simple dish. This is about between $10 and $15, depending upon what the price of chicken is. The ingredients are the chicken thigh, boneless, skinless, and then what I do is I get a bag of the Asian chopped salad from the produce section at the grocery store. And today I usually do 2 servings of ramen, sometimes 3. Typically I cook for 2 people, and sometimes we'll put 2 in, sometimes we'll put 3. Tonight I'm just cooking for myself, and this will be lunch again tomorrow. So I'm just going to use 1 serving of the ramen noodles. So we've got the chicken, the ramen noodles, the chopped salad, and then I went with some things that I have on hand, which are jalapenos, which I'm going to actually get going here in just a sec, and I have some leftover corn, and so basically it becomes a mishmash. Now, if you're familiar with the term chopped suey, which I think most people are, I learned recently. I was at the oldest Chinese restaurant in the United States, and if you leave a comment down below where that Chinese restaurant is, I'd be really happy. I'd be interested to see if you know about it. But This particular Chinese restaurant, and if you look through my YouTube feed, you'll probably see a short on it as well. So this particular Chinese restaurant has been operating for I think close to 100 years. They invented chopped suey, and the whole premonition behind the dish was that where this restaurant was, it was a mining in a blue collar community. They were mining platinum. They were mining copper, other precious metals. It was years ago, and the mines were operating around the clock, and those guys were super hungry, and so the restaurant didn't always have their mise en place, their food all prepped up and ready to go. So they invented chop suey, which is basically kind of whatever they had left over with a bunch of noodles. And that's a throwback to what we're doing today. So I'm going to give this just a little scrape around. I love, like, that color right there is just so gorgeous on the chicken thigh. That's part of the reason why I like chicken thigh. The small bits really tend to cook up deliciously wonderful. Here's a great example of a piece that's got a lot of fat on it. So kind of flip that over, see if I can't get it rendered more. So at this stage of the game, you know, the chicken thigh does take a while to cook. So I let it do. I let it go. I let it do its thing, and just like that airplane is doing its thing overhead. I'll take a little pause for that. But you can see the color that this chicken is starting to develop. It's really beautiful, and I like starting with chicken that's unseasoned. If I'm gonna season it, I will use typically a little bit of salt and pepper, or actually, I'll let out a little secret. I have a seasoning coming out called Kiss of Smoke, and I've used all my samples, or I'll be using it today, but it's for these types of applications where we're using a griddle and some smoky flavor would be delicious on the food, but there's no real smoke here because it's a closed fire cook. So my Kiss of Smoke seasoning will be perfect for cooking everything from hibachi, chopped suey, whatever you want to call it, on the griddle, to burgers, steaks, chicken breasts, fish. Anytime that you want that little pop of smoke, as well as some additional seasoning to your food, Kiss of Smoke will be there for you. And I'll have details coming up in the future on that very soon. We just finalized the label of it today. And so please subscribe, and I'd love it if you hit the like button. And what'll happen then is when I do give out information about Kiss of Smoke, and we're going to be giving a bunch of it away, rolling out as we get closer to the holidays, you'll get notifications to let you know that that we're doing that. So please hit the subscribe button so you can stay in the loop on this really fun new seasoning that's going to be delicious. So on a 22-inch griddle, there actually is a decent amount of real estate, but I like to use it all. You know, why not? I'm heating the whole thing, so why not really spread the food out? It's deceivingly large. You know, it does hold a lot of food, which is really great. But I tend to be a creature of habit and try to corral it all and bring it back together. So that's typical. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cook for a little bit more, and then we will start adding additional ingredients. All right, so we're back. The chicken is cooked for a little bit. Stir it around some and get ready to add some additional ingredients. Here's a little tip that I took from, we have a Mongolian stir fry place nearby, and first of all, those guys are always working 2 spatulas. And one of the things that I see them doing a lot, especially with chicken, is that they're testing the doneness. So what they'll do is they'll kind of put a piece down like this, and then they'll go to get in it so they can see in the middle. But I think that also the way that the meat shreds, if it's kind of coming off in strings rather than in chunks, you know that you're headed in the right direction. So this meat is basically cooked. We could eat this right now. It's going to be safe to eat. But I do like when it gets to become more well done. I feel like it has almost a popcorn chicken flavor to it and appeal. So I'm just going to put this here for now. And kind of get going with the first ingredient. Get some jalapenos down. I don't know if you can see in here, but we've got a ramen noodle. Underneath is our chopped salad. So we'll let the jalapeno do its thing here. Kind of cook on that for a bit. That's just a piece of cabbage. Let me get rid of that for now. So in my cookbook, the flippin' awesome backyard griddle cookbook, there's a version of this recipe. It's a little bit more planned out and with fewer leftovers, but I do like the chop suey aspect of it, where you just kind of work with what you have on hand. I happen to have these chicken thighs that had defrosted. I think it was 3 of them, and I just cut them with a knife into these little tiny bits the way that I like them, and it worked out great. So I'm gonna get those in here. Alright, the chicken and jalapenos are having a little party. I'm gonna pause this for a sec, get the noodles. Alright, so we're back. I found I had an oil sprayer sitting right here, so I will spray a little bit of oil on the griddle. These things are awesome. They work really, really well. They're awesome for air frying as well. So with the noodles, I just basically rehydrate them in water. And I'm going to spritz them again with some more oil. Okay? So they get rehydrated in water, and then they just sit on the griddle, and we're looking to crisp them up. So let them sit here, spread them apart just a little bit, and you'll see soon that they'll start to get brown and toasty and crunchy and add a whole different level of flavor and texture than you're probably accustomed to when you have, you know, hibachi, or call it what you want. Chopped suey, dim sum, doesn't matter. Here, I'll give these a flip, see what they look like. See, they're kind of starting to get some of that brown going on, which is great. So let's mix them with the chicken. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, you're just putting it all together. I still have that leftover corn. That's raw. Gonna need to cook a little. Start with it on the side, actually. Kind of playing with the heat a little. It was down to low, and turn it back up. Give one of these chickens a taste. Pretty good. You can You can start to get the essence from the jalapeno, which is great. So, you may or may not have noticed there's been no seasoning at all on this dish so far. And that's by design. So, what I'm going to do here next is spread this out thinly into a single layer across the griddle. And I've got my chopped salad from the salad kit. So that's just going to go right on top as well. This is an excellent way to get vegetables into people like myself who would rather not have vegetables. These chopped salad kits, especially the Asian ones, are delicious and they're flavorful, which is great. So I'm going to put just a little bit of water in the middle here. You kind of don't need it. But the whole idea is that you want to try to keep the noodles crisp, get the salad, which is mostly cabbage, and a few other things to wilt, and go from there. So that's where it needs to be. This is the dressing from the salad kit, the Asian vinaigrette. And it just happens to be perfect to put in this dish. Wonderful, flavorful, it works great. Then on top of it, we all know what this is, a ramen packet. You can use that with your own discretion, but I think that it works quite well. So at this point, it's really just about distributing the Asian vinaigrette through the food, into the noodles, into the chopped salad mix, into the other ingredients, spreading it around, getting nice and hot. I do want the noodles to have a bit of texture on them, so I'll let them sit like this for a minute, but we're basically ready to be done with this dish. So I'm going to cut the heat. This is a little bit easier to do with two spatulas, but I'll try it with one. It's only a few scoopers full. So now you can top this with some nuts, sriracha. I like cashews, peanuts, fresh cilantro. The other thing that I really like using is these salad kits will come with these noodles and an almond and sesame seed mixture, and boom, it goes right on and it works out great. So yeah, thank you for watching. It's Paul from Grilling Montana. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Leave a comment if you would make this dish, what you would put in there that would be different. Maybe some onion, shallot, mushrooms. Maybe you didn't want corn in there because it's not traditional. Who knows? But I hope you have a great evening. Cheers, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.